Hey guys, I'm Mabry. I work for Coin, and that name might sound familiar because it's the inspiration for the Mabry Show on So I Got a Request. Just the name, not the fact that she's unemployed and has no direction in life and doesn't know what she's doing. So since my name is Mabry and the character's name is Mabry, we thought, why not interview the star of So I Got a Request, Nikki Limo. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me. I am the inspiration for the not having a direction in life and not knowing what I'm doing. This is what I bring to the name Mabry.
So let's start with your background. What were you like as a kid? Were you crazy?
Yeah. I don't know. I was very lonely, but also I would do scripts and plays and things with my stuffed animals, and I'm not a sane person, I think. This is making me sound like I'm a serial killer now.
Did you give them voices?
I did. I gave them all characters and voices. At one point, when I learned about homophobia, I made one animal gay and one homophobic, and the homophobic one always got into terrible situations, like a sort of Roadrunner coyote-esque thing where the coyote always blows up. The homophobic guy, he would always he was a pig. It was a cow and a pig, and the cow was gay and I just wanted to be the pig's friend, and the pig was homophobic and would always get thrown off cliffs and blown up and stuff like that. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell as a child.
Yeah. So what was the first moment that you knew that you wanted to be a performer? You wanted to be...
I don't know if there was a moment. I was really into Jim Carrey and Jim Carrey movies when I was a kid, and I would just go home and do lots of Jim Carrey impressions and stuff in the mirror. I would call the phone downstairs from the phone upstairs and then record the conversation, and I'd have different callers call in and do British accents and Spanish accents and just weird voices, and then I'd show my mom when she got home. And I guess when I found out that you could be a performer as a career is when I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. And my grandma was actually a professional extra. So she was a SAG member, and she would get, every day she would go to work as an extra. And so she got me involved with headshots and got a manager and did all that stuff. And
so did you get to go with her to anything, or?
I didn't get to go with her for anything, but she did start me off with the children's extra casting type place. And I was on Power Rangers, which was my favorite show as a kid, and so that was fun. And then I was in the background of a movie called The Pest with John Leguizamo. And I was a Catholic schoolgirl playing basketball in the background. I got to have lunch with him, and I interviewed him on how he became an actor and all this stuff like that. And then they were holding auditions in Santa Barbara for a print ad for IBM during the Olympics when I was 9. And I booked the job, and then I got a manager through that job, and she kept sending me out for different things, and I kept booking. And that's when I kind of started. And at that point, I didn't know that you couldn't not book an audition. Now I realize you don't book many auditions.
Right. So you've kind of done it backwards.
Yes, I got success at a young age, and then my manager died when I was 10. I guess it's not funny, but it's so dark that it's funny to me. And then I started back into acting as a career when I was an adult at 19.
Okay. So you took a break after your manager.
Yeah, we looked for new representation, but I was living in Santa Barbara, and my parents didn't want to move, and all the agency managers that were in LA wanted us to move to LA, so I gave up. I was like, and then when I graduated high school, I was like, I'm too old to be an actor now, because I'm 17, and everybody that I knew as a kid that was an actor had already booked all these TV shows and done all this stuff, and so I thought I was too old, and then I realized it's never too late to work on your dreams.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that.
I'm amazing is the thing that you should know about me.
Yeah.
I read a lot of books to be amazing.
Like books about being amazing?
Yeah, personal development books. I'm pretty like personally developed.
Like actualization, personal.
Yeah, like there's certain levels, you know, after reading books for a while. Which I've been reading books for a while, like a long time. I'm slipping into my Mabry character a little bit.
I know, that's for later.
Yeah, okay.
Don't do that yet.
Well.
So, you were doing all this stuff, extra work and the print work, and then how did you get started in YouTube when you came back after high school? Or?
Yeah, I came back. I was back for a couple of years already, and I was auditioning, living in LA, auditioning for like just student films, independent films, like little projects, just to get footage for my reel so I could get a better agent. And I needed more like footage that was, one, professionally produced, and two, that showcased more of what I wanted to be showcasing, which was comedy rather than cheesy student film drama.
They're always drama.
Yeah, they're always drama. They're always like, people don't talk like that.
Yeah.
They're like, no, wait, Travis, I saw you at the mall with that girl, and I know what you were doing.
Yeah.
Like, nobody talks like that, but that's how it's written, and the directors that also wrote it were like, you have to state a script, and it was just not a good time. But I looked, they were having, they needed a girl to play a girl in a sketch. Yeah. And so I figured that, like, you know, I could do that as a girl, because I already was one.
Yeah.
They wanted a young, like, in her young 20s girl to pull a prosthetic penis out of a popcorn bag for a YouTube sketch.
Okay.
And I normally don't submit to Craigslist ads, which is where I found this. I was looking for stand-up comedy gigs. I'd been doing stand-up comedy for like 2 years at the time. It's now been 6 years, which just makes me feel really old. And there was no stand-up comedy gigs, but there was this audition not an audition even. It was just a submission thing. They needed a girl. And any girl, any old girl, preferably in comedy.
Okay.
And so usually I don't submit to those things, but I checked out their website, I checked out their YouTube channel. They had 2 videos up, and they looked pretty professionally done, and at the time they had 12,000 subscribers, and it was a channel called Totally Sketch, which now has almost 1 million subscribers, but at the time Michael Gallagher was just starting his channel, and he was doing these sketches called interactive sketches, where it's basically a choose-your-own-adventure type thing.
Okay.
And this was one of the first ones that they did, and I showed up. He was not a serial killer, which I was worried about initially, and he was just a young kid at the time, actually. He was only 20 years old when I started working with him, and didn't hear from him for 6 months, and then he calls me and asks me if I want to be in his girlfriend's movie that she's producing, and I was like, yes. And then that movie went to Slamdance. And then he started working with a big channel called The Station that was launching. He was directing all of their videos. And The Station was a conglomerate of all these big YouTube channels, like the biggest comedy YouTube channels on the internet came together and made this super channel. And they were starting to produce content, and Michael was directing them, and they needed a girl to play a hot chick and adopt a hot chick. And I was like, I'm scared of the comments for labeling me that. But yes, I will do it because I need more footage for my reel, and it was good last time. So I did that, and I ended up working with The Station, which is now Maker Studios. The Station evolved into Maker Studios. So from that one sketch, I met all the founders of The Station and Maker, which is Lisa Nova, Shay Carl, Cassim G. And they all started putting me in their videos. So I started getting passed around these huge channels, which I knew nothing about. I had no idea this community even existed, that these people were like internet famous or anything. To me, it was like, yeah, I don't know, it's some internet web thing until it's like for footage for my reel, so I can go and like get real work. But then as I got more involved with the community, I realized that it was a whole new platform that I saw going somewhere. These people were making ridiculous amounts of money that I had no idea you could even make money on YouTube, and they were all living off YouTube alone, and they were all self-sufficient too, which is what was really cool to me, that they all had creative control. They wrote the sketches, they shot them, they edited them, they marketed them, they branded their thumbnails. It was just a whole different world that I had never experienced as a beginner actor in the world of auditions in TV and film. So that's what got me interested. And the fact that YouTube's so interactive, they were so interactive with their fans, is so different than TV and film where the actors are put on like a pedestal.
Right.
And you can't connect with them.
Right. So pulling a prosthetic penis out of a popcorn bag changed your life?
Yes, pulling a prosthetic penis bag out of a popcorn bag will change your life. If anyone ever offers that to you, say yes. Because look at me.
So after all of this, you kind of touched on it, getting like attracted to YouTube because they're closer to their fans, they're self-sufficient, doing their own work. How did you decide to create your own channel?
Well, at first I was like, oh my god, I can never do that. Like, that's so much work that I've only been trained as an actor. I was a writer too because I was doing stand-up, but I started I had a YouTube channel, which I had a couple sketches on that were terrible sketches, but they were from MySpace days. Oh, wow. I got like a little bit of a viral MySpace video, and so I had people from there, and I had sketches on my YouTube channel as a backup, but I never thought I would do anything on YouTube. But the channel was there, so when I was in all these people's sketches, they would link to my YouTube channel. So I started getting a crossover of traffic, like a fan base started building off of their videos, but I didn't have any content of my own on my channel. So the bigger channels were like, hey, you should make content, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have like fancy production resources or anything. They're like, no, just talk to a camera. I'm like, that's so weird. I could never talk to a camera in my living room. They're like, no, just do it. And then I had a traditional TV and film manager who was super against it, did not want me to do YouTube, saw it as very unprofessional and destruction to my career as an actress. So wouldn't let me do anything. So I was kind of doing things on the DL. I would like post like stand-up show promotions on there and stuff like that. But as I saw, people were getting more and more success, I just realized that this was a platform where just similar to stand-up, which is what I like about stand-up, is that I have creative control and a platform where I can say and do whatever I want and perform and express myself in a way that I don't have someone else telling me what to do, or it's not part of somebody else's production, and then there's an audience that sees it right away, which is so different than waiting around for the phone to ring to be booked on some TV show to say one line that I don't even, you have to compete with thousands of girls to get. So now I've come a long way, and I started working with the YouTube space and had production resources, which led to more resources, and just being able to have the freedom to write a sketch, get it produced right away, and then edit a sketch. It just opened up this production side of me, like as a producer. I'm no longer just an actor on screen. I'm now the writer and the producer and the director, and I have a lot more control. I have all the control, so I like control.
So the creative control is the best part of the YouTube route as opposed to the traditional route? Is that like the best benefit?
I would say there's a lot of pros and cons. That is a major plus for me. I think it would be the best for me personally. For some people, there's a lot of people that are really successful on YouTube, and they really bank on following the trends and have an on-screen persona that is nothing like them in real life, and a lot of them are miserable because they're playing towards what's popular as opposed to who they are as a person or as an artist. And what I use YouTube for, what I like the most about YouTube, is that I don't care about following the trends so much, or like playing towards what's going to get me the most views. I see it as more of a showcasing place where I can write whatever I want and then edit it how I want and market it to the world and say, hey, this is who I am as an artist, and whoever sees it, they won't be like, oh, this girl's just playing to the trends. They'll be like, oh, this girl might fit our show. Or they will think, no, this girl doesn't fit our show. But either way, they'll get who I am as a person, as opposed to just having something wacky that I'm doing.
Right. What videos or set of videos started getting just like major numbers where you're like, oh wow, this could work?
When I was working with Totally Sketch, we did one interactive video called Interactive Sex, which at one point was the first video that popped up if you entered the word sex in YouTube search engine. And it has over 100 million views on the first video. And then it has about 6 subsequent videos that each have 15 million. So there's about almost 200 million views in total.
Wow.
Yeah. Regardless of how people found it, whether they didn't mean to click on it because they thought it was something else, regardless of how they saw it, 100 million people saw that sketch, which exposure as an actor or anyone in the creative field is so vital to success, because you can be the most talented person, but if nobody sees what you do or who you are, then it doesn't really matter. But with YouTube, the numbers don't lie. I mean, that many people saw you, or at least half of those many people saw you, and maybe they saw it multiple times.
Right. Are you surprised by that can happen on YouTube, or at this point now you're just like...
Yeah, not surprised anymore. And in fact, numbers are so inflated right now that it's constantly changing and evolving. For example, it used to be, like when I started, 100,000 subscribers was a lot of subscribers. And people were always like, your first 100,000 is the hardest and all this stuff. The channels that I was working with, who were the top channels, all had like 300,000, 600,000 views, subscribers. Shane Dawson was like the number 2 channel, and he had 2 million subscribers. Whereas now there are tons of channels that have over 1 million subscribers that I have no idea who they are. And almost everybody has 100,000 subscribers. It's almost like you're constantly playing catch up. The top 100 channels on YouTube all have over 1 million subscribers at this point. And nowadays, subscribers doesn't equal views. It used to be you had 100,000 subscribers, you were getting like 300,000 views on your videos. Now you have 1 million subscribers. I've seen people with 1 million subscribers consistently get 40,000 views on a video. So it's all algorithm, and you can have a viral hit, but you have to be consistent. You have to be relevant. You have to constantly, be involved in the community to like really make it and survive in the YouTube world.
How is it different now than it was when you started? Because it seems like there's a lot more people out there. Does your stuff get like muddled and like
yes,
people can't find it because there's just not as much?
Oh, it's definitely way more saturated than when I first started. It's more saturated. The layout is different. There's more videos being promoted on top of what you're subscribed to, so your videos don't get seen as much as they used to. Also, there's more people to subscribe to. So, people used to only subscribe to maybe 20 channels. Now they subscribe to 200 channels. So your videos do get buried. But they're always going to be changing. In order for any industry to grow, there's going to be more saturation and more people jumping on board. So it's all about, staying in the loop, doing best practices, being consistent with your content, being smart about tags and how you're marketing your content and branding. And I'm constantly learning. Like, a lot of it is still like changing, and you get tips from other people like, oh, I changed my thumbnails to this and this started working. For a while it was really popular on YouTube to have like a bright background, and then you Photoshop a person out and then have like a bright neon yellow background or a green background. Now that's not as popular. Now it's like really popular to have like a blurred background. So it's just constantly changing. I'm trying to keep up with it. Yeah.
So your celebrity status is going up, like on YouTube. It's crazy. How has your life changed since all of this has started happening?
I would see that my involvement with the community has gone up a lot, and over the course of the 4 years that I've been involved with YouTube videos and making content on YouTube, I've met a lot of people, and you keep seeing the same people over and over again. So you keep, collaborating with more and more people, and the more people that I meet, the more chances there are to collaborate, and the more people you collaborate with, the more you're seen by audiences that you might have not been seen by otherwise. I think the two most important aspects of being successful on YouTube is, one, collaborating. Every single person I know on YouTube that's successful collaborated with someone to get to the point that they're at right now. And two is being consistent with the content on your channel, because when people see you in a collaboration, they're like, oh, I want to check out that girl, and they click to go to your channel. You should have recent content, or else people don't subscribe, because if you don't have anything being put up, then why would they? So those two factors are like a loop-de-loop.